Hi, this is Mike Holt with MikeHolt.com. You heard that little stutter because I'm nervous. I must have spent 30 hours preparing for this 1 hour program. And the reason I'm nervous is because I know that I could say something that could significantly change where you're going to go in your lifetime. And let me just give a review of what we have. I've done one video about why you should get in the electrical trade. That was 3 Wednesdays ago or 2 Wednesdays ago. I did a second video about the overview of the electrical industry and what you'd have to learn. Today I'm going to be talking about product selection. What program that we have is best fit for you to accomplish the goals that you're looking for. And honestly, if I could personally mentor every one of you, I would do that. And I've mentored a lot of people over the last 45 years that I've been training. And so part of what I'm trying to do here is, if I can communicate it in a way, it's like I'm like your mentor. And I'm giving you some good, solid advice. Been doing it for 45 years. I got something to tell you, okay? And now, next week, I'm going to be talking about the actual products. Every single product, depending upon which program you get, you'll know about the product, how to approach the product, how to use the product, how do you handle, let's say, dyslexia or a weakness in math or a weakness in reading or spelling. You know, what are the tools and that I can get you that you can be able to be comfortable, because it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. There's no such thing as a weakness that's going to stop you from being unbelievably successful and a multimillionaire, because it can be done. So that's going to be next week. And then the last week that I'm thinking, I think it's only going to be 5 of these, is okay, let's get certified. Let's talk about the Journeymans, the Masters. We'll talk about electrical inspector certification, getting in for instructors. So today, let's talk about, well, what products should you select? All right, before I get started, just want to take a moment to thank God. Again, if you go to MikeHolt.com and you go to videos and you click on there, the Mike Holt story, you'll find out that, boy, if it wasn't for God, this is not going to happen the way it happened for me anyhow. All right, ready? This video is for those interested in having the greatest success in the electrical industry. So if you're like, man, I want to have everything. I want to do all I possibly can. I want to be you, Mike. I want to take over your job. I want to be Brian. I mean, I'm not gonna, whatever it is. I want to be a Mario. I want to be an Eric Stromberg. You know, I want to be any of these guys. You can be anybody. Okay. I was told to slow down. Sorry, I get excited. All right. So this is about helping you achieve everything you could possibly have wanted. As a matter of fact, exceed any expectation you ever had about your life. For sure, that's my story. All right, let's see what success looks like. It's a little review of some people we've talked about in the past, but I think it's a good idea to get us focused. Okay, what is this about? I got this comment just a couple of days ago. Mike Holt has taken my career to the next level. I'm the oldest of 4 boys in my family. I started a business in 2008, and all of us brothers became electricians. I think that's so cool. Thanks to Mike Holt, we have family-owned business in Cape Canaveral, Florida. We're all high school dropouts except one of my brothers. The Mike Holt program has become my primary source of education, perfecting math, calculations, and the NEC. Listen, I can help you with all that. Don't even worry. Don't be afraid of anything. We do not feel underachieved in any way. We all own our houses, and some of us are completely debt-free. I push that big time if you take any of my classes. My suggestion: complete the ultimate library program, make it part of your daily life, and strive to live a balanced lifestyle, and you will be successful. He's perfect. That's exactly what I'm trying to help. Here's another one. I just got this morning, so it's kind of cute. Ready for this? Small font, so I apologize. I'll have to read it because I couldn't make it any bigger. Hi, Mike. Just wanted to reach out to you and the crew and thank you for the last few weeks. It's been very informative and fun to watch and share with the guys. Just a quick story of regal power. After high school, I was ready to take a few months off from graduation and run with the devil. Van Halen reference there. This was 1983, after all. But my mother was a receptionist at an electrical contractor here in Fort Lauderdale and told me to get some boots, hard hat, and some hand tools, and to get my butt to work in the morning because I have a job as an electrician's helper. I love those kind of moms. Those are the best. From there, I joined. You know, the VHS tapes at that time. No Okay. Let's see here. I'm set. Okay. Now. No? Yes. Is that it working now, Brian? Oh man, that messed up everything. Sorry about that. We had an audio problem. So I'm not quite sure. Should I start reading that from beginning again, Brian? All right, I'm going to start this again. Ready for this? Because it's important that I get this video done correctly. So I apologize somehow with the audio. Okay, here's an email I got this morning from somebody. Hi, Mike. Just wanted to reach out to you and the crew and thank you for the last few weeks. It's been very informative and fun to watch and share with you guys. Just a quick story about Regal Power. After high school, I was ready to take a few months off graduation, run with the devil. Van Halen reference there, 1983 after all. But my mom, the receptionist of an electrical contractor here in Fort Lauderdale, told me to get some boots, a hard hat, some tools, and to get my butt to work in the morning because I have a job as an electrician's helper. From there, I joined the ABCI program, got a box full of Mike Holt's VHSs, no CDs, no MP3s, no internet back then, and just hit the books and the tapes. I put my tools down probably in the second year of apprenticeship and started running jobs, houses, multifamilies, retail. That's exactly what I did. I didn't have the opportunity of having any training. It was 18 months in the trade, and I was running jobs. You want to talk about people being not happy with Mike Holt? I didn't really care. I had a baby I'm trying to take care of. Obtained my Journeyman's card thanks to you and the ABCI program. Did my continuing education over the years with you. The company I worked for was having difficulty surviving through the recession. I decided it was time to get my EC, which is the electrical contractor's license in Florida. With the help from your program, I passed the first time. Started Regal Power. The company I was working for finally closed the doors, and I was able to take over all their electricians with me, and we established Regal Power. Now we have 25 employees, majority of the guys being with me for 20 years, and that's the success. The whole program that I'm trying to teach you is how to take care of people and how to serve. Over the years, I've never missed a paycheck. I have. Always had plenty of handyman jobs. That is true. You can always have work, so that's not a problem there. Made lifelong friendships. Yep, sure will. Always had fun. I love the electrical trade. There was nothing in it I didn't enjoy. Plenty of toys, Jeeps, boats, etc. Listen, I'm sorry. When you get successful and you start making money and you get this, yeah, you're going to be buying all those toys. Not in the beginning. You got to wait till you're ready for that. And no student loans. Listen, I do not recommend anybody going to college at all. Hear me out. Don't get excited. Unless the person going to college knows exactly why they're going to college. They know what career they're going to get. They know how much money they're going to make. They know the return on the investment. They know how much it's going to cost them or me, whatever the case may be. And then you make an intelligent decision. You don't just say, well, I'm going to take student loans and I'm going to go to college. All right, don't get me started. Becoming an electrician works, and it really works. Okay, so I got that one. And the last one I just throw up there real quickly here. It's a photo my son just sent me. He does a lot of generators, and he's in the Central Florida area. Premier Power. He's my son, right? I mean, I mentioned him. I yell at him every single day. I yell at him today. Every single day. Michael, you got to do this. And you know what? He absorbs it. He says, Dad, I always tell him for years, son, anytime you don't want my crap, you just tell me, Dad, I got it. I got it all figured out. And if you guys had it all figured out, then you just stop this video and just go somewhere else because you got it worked out. If you don't have it all figured out, you're like, you know what, Michael has a pretty successful company for 45 years. His son looks like it's doing it. You get all these letters in there. I'm going to pay attention to him. Maybe see, I let him mentor me. All right, so now, what do you got to do? Number one, you got to be ready and you got to be committed. And I don't know what it takes. I remember teaching classes when I would teach classes on Saturdays for 25 years. I taught the Journeyman and Masters. A young person would come in there and they just didn't do that great. And they would come in late, leave early, maybe not make it, back in, whatever. And then about 3 years later or something like that, all of a sudden in the class, and they're like the top student in the class. And I would say, what the heck happened? When you were here last time, you were a total bozo. You came in late, you left early, had an attitude, you didn't make every single class. Everyone have told me this, Mike, I wasn't ready. I'm ready now. And it's important to me. Now I see the value. So nothing I have to say has any value until you can look in the mirror and say, I'm ready. We'll take care of it. Okay. I got this email. Oh, I got this one. Yeah, just a few days ago. Hi, Mike. I would like to take a moment and thank you for being my mentor in changing my life. I don't even know who this guy is. Short story is, I was driving the truck to my next assigned HVAC service call when I saw your 6-day calculations live stream started. You see, every time I create a recording, I live stream it. And it was a 6-day live stream on calculations. The decision was instant. I called my boss and said, please, I need to take 6 days off. This guy was ready. He took 6 days off. He didn't get paid. And he's going to go and watch a live stream. I'm going to attend Mike Holt's live stream. He said, okay, we're not too busy anyway. Someone will cover you. I listen from the start to the end every day, 6 days to you and your super team. You see, when you get a program from us, let's just say Code Changes, there's a lot of people in the background. There's a lot of people on the team giving you information, especially the 2020 Code Changes. Oh my gosh. Forget about everything I'm telling you about. You got to get that 2020 Code Changes and you got to watch this. That is the craziest, most amazing course ever. All right, back to work here. Anyways, I listen from the start to the end every day, 6 days to you and your super team. I believe at some point you mentioned it would take 400 hours to get prepared for the exam. I decided whatever it takes, I will squeeze 400 hours in 3 months. I love this guy. And schedule the exam right away, just not to have an option to go back or change my mind. This guy, I've done that before. I bought a house one time, an existing house, and I wanted to change the wall. I took a hammer and I beat the crap out of a wall. I mean, as soon as I closed. And then it's like, well, can't change your mind now. You got to fix the wall. And that's what he did. Since I had no option, because he made sure I'm doing this, I started studying your books literally day and night, exactly what I did. I highlighted and made notes in the NEC more than anybody has ever done. The guy is on fire. Mike, you're doing fantastic. The original exam date got rescheduled to May 11th in New Jersey. So we're not talking very far away. Today is May, 20th or something like that. I passed it, first attempt, in Philadelphia, the standard master electrician exam. Now, I know this is just the beginning. He's exactly right. You get your math, that's just the beginning. And as my boss would say, even the most experienced electricians know not more than 10% of the electrical trade. It could not have been better time this spring to stay home and study. Last few words about Mario. Mario's on our video teams, not on the change only. His passion, his hard work, success was a great inspiration for me. Mario is a student of mine. He took my entire program and he studied every single thing. Minimum number of times he watched the videos, minimum, 10 times. What do you think Mario is? He's a rocket star. Anybody knows Mario, you hear him talking like, wow, this kid is amazing. He's 30 years old. He's probably going on 31 soon. Thank you for changing lives. If no Mike Holt, his program and passion, I would not be at this level. And there's Mike right there. And that's his result page. That's what I'm talking about. Are you ready? You're going to be like Mike? Are you going to make a commitment? Are you going to stick with it? Are you going to commit yourself? No options? That's what I do. All right. Let's talk about some questions. So now maybe see where you stand and whether you're like, whatever. Number one, Mike, could you explain the difference between a journeyman and master electrician, an electrical contractor, and do you have to have an electrical contractor's license to do electrical work independently? Okay, a journeyman, the basic thing is, usually it's about 4 years or so many, about 8,000 hours of trade experience. And then we're going to talk about filling the application and later on, all that's another. But I just give you a kind. Then that would be a journeyman electrician. The general requirements is generally, in most states, that you then would work as a journeyman electrician for a couple of years, and then you become a master electrician. You qualify to take the master's test, and then you become a master electrician. Now, a master electrician does not necessarily qualify you to be an electrical contractor. Now, some states will allow a journeyman to be an electrical contractor under some limited applications. Some states will allow a master electrician to be an electrical contractor. And some states will say, well, the master electrician is the technical part of it. You also now have to take the administrative part. So like Washington State has an administrative section if you want to be a contractor. See, you can take an electrical exam and pass a master electrician exam. And in some states that would qualify you. But many states are saying, listen, that's technical. Master electrician is not a business guy. We need you to learn workman's comp, unemployment comp. We need you to know about financial statements, construction lien laws. You know what I mean? There's a lot of administrative and their individual state requirements and the rules and regulations and the building codes or their separate amendments. So there's a lot involved. We're going to talk about that in the 5th video about how to get certified. So it's a journeyman, it's a master, and then there's a contractor. Some states, journeymans will allow you to contract. Some states, masters will allow you to contract, and some states require you to have both the technical as well as the business to pass the test. We'll talk more later on. I want to get my master's license, but I've been told I must have a journeyman's license before I can get my master's license. I don't know if that's true, but there's 50 different states, and the national code is used in other parts of the world with licensing. I would say that's generally true, that you need to have your journeyman's and then have it for a little while longer before you get a master's. But that's not necessarily true. So on the 5th step here, we will cover every state, every condition, give you all the information, how you can figure out what needs to be done. Okay, what I think you should get a master's license and not get a journeyman's? I don't think so, but we'll talk about that. Okay, Mike, how do you deal with states that don't require a journeyman's license to run work? Basically, the journeyman's license is useless. Listen, you can make a lot of money in this industry and not even have a journeyman's license or a master's license. We're not talking about certification. That's not what the issue is here. We're talking about you placing yourself in a scenario. And I don't know if I communicated this in the other previous videos. You need to be flexible. You need to have the skills and the opportunity to adapt to any situation. That means that if all of a sudden the employer you work for, he goes or she goes out of business, not a problem. That means that you'll be certified, you can become an instructor that fast. All of a sudden you got your certifications, boom. Maybe you're going to be an inspector. You weren't planning on being an inspector. Maybe you're actually going to go into business. I wasn't planning on going to business. Brian, I know you weren't planning on going to business. As a matter of fact, most people don't plan on going to business. Something happened, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, because going into business is a big deal. We'll be talking about that, not right now. So listen, I don't care if they don't have a journeyman's license in the state I'm in. On step 5, when we talk about getting certified, I will tell you where you can go to get a journeyman's license, not because you need the journeyman's license, because if your state doesn't have it, it doesn't need it, it doesn't matter. You need to know that you're a journeyman electrician, and then you're going to start working on management, and you're then going to get your master's license, and then you're going to get your contractor's license, and you don't have to go into business, but you're ready for anything. What advice would you have for a young guy pursuing a contractor's license without being a journeyman, but moving into project management? Advice? I think you're an idiot. I mean, come on. You're not ready to be a project manager. You're not ready to be an electrical contractor until you completed a journeyman's course and you're a licensed journeyman. You're not ready until you completed a management course and you understand how to run jobs and manage people and how the thing works, how this thing works, and then to get a master's certificate. And then after everything is done, listen, you're not ready till everything is done. And then, guess what? When everything is done, you're now in a situation to make transitions. I wouldn't be making many transitions until I got all my skills, got all my tools, got everything ready to go. And then I can decide, how am I going to make a transition? And the transitions usually are going to be significant. It's like, do I get out of this and go into instructors? Do I become an inspector? Do I get out of an inspector? Do I become an electrical contractor? We'll cover that in step 5 of the videos. So no, you don't become a contractor. Now, I'm not going to say there aren't people who become contractors, who are electrical contractors, and have never worked at all ever in the trade. And you can do that. As a matter of fact, you can always do that. You can hire a master electrician or a qualifier. And those people have been very, very successful. I've known many people, but they're business people. They're very smart. I want to start an electrical company, but don't have my journeyman or master's license. Again, same old theme. Is it a bad idea to just hire a master electrician to work for me and start my company under their license? Is it a bad idea? No, that's like a total, completely crazy idea. Because your business is dependent on somebody else. Oh yeah, that's never going to happen. Let me tell you what you don't do. You don't have partners, and you don't have somebody qualify your business. You make sure you are totally prepared to run your business, and you're going to qualify your business. You'll be the first person to know you're going out of business, okay? You don't want some qualifier, because then all of a sudden they decide, well, I want more money. You know, I don't, no, you don't do that. Our company sees you as a flight risk if you get your master's license. They don't like you to even get your journeyman's license either. You know what? I can appreciate that. I mean, a company invests, let's say, into an employee, and they're doing pretty good, and this market is pretty tough. There's not enough qualified people. They really don't want to see you leave. And I can appreciate that. But you know what? All I'm asking you is do this. I'm asking you to get skilled. Exactly what I asked my son to do. All I want you to do is gather all the information, get all the certifications. If somebody doesn't like that and they say, listen, we hear you're getting your journeymans, we hear you're getting your masters, we're not really comfortable about that, what are they going to do? They're going to tell you to stop studying? Really? Probably not. They're probably just going to fire you. Okay, well then, gosh, probably not somebody you want to work with anyhow, because they were going to fire you at some point for some reason. So good for you. You get fired. The best thing that could happen to you. Is it true that the IBEW doesn't like people becoming management while they are in the IBEW? Maybe that's what the guys, that's what the guys are saying. I'm like, I wasn't in the IBEW. I don't know what's going on there. But I just got this the other Wednesday. I just got this this week. Here's what Michael G says. Mike, another very inspiring video. I'm a licensed journeyman wiring in Clark County, Nevada, but my wife and I moved to Utah. So I had to retake everything out here, including Utah's practical examination. I've got all that out of the way now. I need to look into requirements for how long I need to hold the journeyman wiring's license before I can take the master's. I have to go to PSI's website and look, but I just want to say this video tonight really inspired me to get my damn feet moving on the master's license. Again, thank you for all that you do to educate, inspire all your viewers. Listen, IBEW is not going to try to hold you back. Your electrical contractor, nobody's actually holding you back. Nobody can physically grab you and tell you, it's all mine. It doesn't really matter. So no, the IBEW, but there's people in the IBEW, there's people in the non-union, there's people everywhere in your family members. There's people that are not going to support you. And we're going to talk about next week how to take a test. So, don't worry about these people. Mr. Mike, what are the steps to get a journeyman's license in Miami? Okay, now this is like, well, how do I get it in Miami? Next one, is your master contracts program the same for California C10 exam? Okay, all these things are going to be covered on the 5th video. Next video is like, okay, you got your program. Let's now understand how to take that program and how to study it and how to be complete. And then the last week is like, we answer all those kind of questions. So not today. Okay, ready for this? If you understand the value of knowledge and you want to be successful, see, it takes two things. You got to realize, you know what? I need to understand this stuff. What? Think about this. If you know theory, you know the code, you know bonding and grounding, you know solar, you know all the electrical calculations that's involved in anything, both journeyman calculations, master calculations, you know, and you prepared and you got yourself a journeyman's license and you have yourself a master's license, you have an instructor's license certification, and you have a Mike Holt certified instructor certification. If you can understand the value of that, well, that is like, how many people have that? How many people are really going to realize, if I get all this information, I can do anything, anywhere I want. I can live anywhere, and I can make a ton of money, and I can be happy. So here's what I'm saying. If you understand the value of knowledge, and you want to be successful, keep watching the video. Here we go. Mike, I want to get my journeyman's license, and I'll get it. I don't know where to start, but I'll do it. Okay. Mr. Fuentes, he's ready. He's committed. Are you ready? All right. Now, some comments here. To be a Mike Holt success story, which is like my son, because I'm trying to mentor you like exactly what I tell my son and all my kids, of course, you must become an electrical professional. A professional, not a journeyman electrician, not a master electrician, a professional. And it doesn't matter whether you're an engineer, you need to be a professional who's qualified to do anything at any time for anybody. You must be ready for the opportunity when it's presented. What I'm saying is this: as you gain all your qualifications and your certifications, you put yourself in a position that you're ready. And you're going to be so surprised. If you start and you follow my program as intense as I would, or as some of the others we've seen earlier here, yeah, within 2 years in the trade, you're going to be running jobs. Because you're running jobs, you know? You understand the code, you understand managing of people, you understand estimating, you understand project management, you understand life skills. I mean, you got it all worked out. You understand theory. There's not a conversation anybody could have around you using any term, using any discussion, whether it be business, whether it be calculations, whether it be code, whether it be theory. There's nothing anybody can say that you're not right there with them and you know what's going on. And that builds a lot of confidence in people. It also intimidates people. It builds confidence and intimidates people. Okay, so back here. You must be ready for the opportunity when presented. This requires that you understand the scope of knowledge you need. Well, like, okay, well, Mike, I hear all this stuff, but what do I need? You have to understand the product that will take you there. Okay, Mike, what products? You have to understand the time, the cost commitment required, and you have to have a desire to be successful. This is going to be the cheapest thing in your entire life to make the most amount of money that anybody could possibly have. Trust me. I mean, the average person taking an average seminar, going to a 2-day seminar, Brian, just real quick off the top of your head, you're going to take a 2-day conference somewhere. You're going to fly there. Let's just say you're going to fly there on a Wednesday. You're going to go Thursday, Friday. You can come back on a Saturday. The cost of the conference, the hotel room, the food and the flight, how much would it cost you just to take a 2-day class?
If you do it on the cheap, you could probably do it for about $400 or $500.
Oh, you're going to get the hotels?
Yeah. Let me tell you, I'm a pro. I travel with my kids doing the mountain bike races. You can get a hotel for under $100. You can get a flight for $100, $150 if you're willing to. Depends on how bad you want it. I mean, if you got to have the perfect time.
I don't think. I disagree. Let me tell you why. There's a conference going to go. You take a conference right now, Brian, and you're going out to do a conference on digital. You're not charged. I know the cost of the flight for you to go to Seattle, the cost of the conference, the hotel, and the hotel room is not $500. It's like $2,000.
It could be for sure. Yeah.
Am I wrong?
It could be for sure.
I mean, if you're going to travel somewhere to take a conference somewhere, the cost of a conference for 2 days is probably $900.
Yeah.
Flight is probably $400. Hotel, where the conference is going to be, is probably going to be at least $150 a night times 3. My point is this. It doesn't really matter to me. If that 2-day conference I went to would give me the skills and knowledge so I can make more money, it's worth it. And you're right. If somebody could pull something out, some unique scenario somewhere, they go, I don't know where you can go for $500 to take a class. I mean, where it includes the cost
I think
of the
my
class.
point was, if you want to do it bad enough, you might not have the $2,000, but you can make it happen if you really want to do it. It's just that simple. You just have to figure out how to make it happen.
Well, that was just the cost of the travel and the hotel, maybe in the cheap, but you still got to pay for the conference. All right, let's go on. All right, listen. It doesn't matter where you came from in your life, and it doesn't matter your current struggles. Go to MikeHolt.com, go to videos, and click on the video of Mike Holt's story. You're going to find out probably not many of you guys had a more difficult childhood and a life than I've had. But it's okay. I don't really care where I came from. What matters is that you're ready to do what others are not to do. You're ready to change the way you think and ready to change the way you act. And you're ready to be the best of the best and just have a great life. All right. I've shown Divan before, and I'm not going to read here. But don't think that any of this that I'm telling you is not going to come from the distractors. You are going to have people saying, well, the boss wouldn't want you to get your master's license. I don't know if I would do that. Or your journeyman's. Or maybe in the IBW, it's like, well, we really don't like to see you going into management. And then if you're in the non-union, well, listen, and if you're a woman, they're going to be putting you down. If you're black, they're going to put you down. If you're Hispanic, they're going to put you down. If you're white, they're going to put you down. Listen, it's all part of the territory. Just tune that out. Doesn't really matter. Divan here, take a look at that little smirk on that face there. If you see that, he's like, guess what? Everybody's been putting me down all my life. Mike Holt believes in me, and I do. And I'm going to go somewhere. Okay, almost done here. Mike, I've been in the union for a couple years. I'm a journeyman. I just got that this morning. I'm making the big bucks. You can make big bucks as an electrician. My wife can now stay home and take care of our 2 kids. I can pay the mortgage. I have 2 cars and all other expenses. We have benefit card and practically have free health care for my family also. So you can see, you can make good money being in the union. You can get great benefits. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all. And that is a great option for you to go into if you have that option. But we discussed that in previous videos. I will for sure still get my C10 license, which is a contractor's license in California. But the fear of not taking care of my family and having those union perks is what's kind of holding me back from going on my own. Can I still have those perks on my own? Would I be better off? Please help me. And then I responded, and then he responded back to me. He goes, oh, by the way, I have a great retirement program in the union. I'm not answering this question today because, see, we'll talk about that when you start making transitional changes in the next 2 videos. He needs to do some things, though. And you'll see as we talk about today, there's skills that he needs to gain. One would be management, getting a contractor's license, and then the decision is on the 5th video. What do I do now? Now I'm certified. What do I do? So, sorry, not answering it today. Okay, let's get you going on your journey. Ready for this? Mike, not to be rude, but I only want to get my license with the least effort and the least expense. Well, see, that's a total different plan than I'm talking about. I'm talking about I want to get you completely skilled all the way down the line, but I don't know every single person. You're like, well, Mike, I'm in the union, or I was in ABC, or I was in some apprenticeship program, and I got a lot of this information that you're talking about. Well, that's a different story. So this is Mike Holt, Journeyman link, and let's just talk about this. This is the ultimate Journeyman library. This is what I would recommend a journeyman to do. But we're not going to talk about that now because we're going to discuss it. Then you have the comprehensive training library. So we have a website, and it keeps you down here. And the comprehensive training library, you can see it covers the code, theory, and some tapes, which is pretty good. This would be somebody who had not completed an apprenticeship training program and felt that they compared the value of the ultimate versus this right here, and they realized, you know what, I'd rather have this one here. Journeyman's intermediate program. Now this is kind of like an exam prep book with the code changes, which means that you've actually finished an apprenticeship program. You completed it. And now you're getting ready to take your test on your 4th year, or you never got it done. Well, then I would go for the intermediate program, because you just want to brush up on the code changes and you really want to get into the code. Okay? Then you have the basic program. Now this one, of course, you see less and less and less cost. Time's going to take less. Well, this one is just strictly exam prep. And if you completed a 4-year apprenticeship training program, yeah, this could probably work for you to get that journeyman's license. The problem is that there's other things I'd like you to go to, but yeah, you could do that. Well, I really want to save money. Okay, well then just get some books. The code book, the understanding, the exam prep book. That's even cheaper. And take less time. I just want to get the exam prep book and the simulator exam. Okay, well that's even cheaper. I just want to get the exam prep book. Okay, well that's even cheaper. I just want to get the practice. We don't have a practice exam book, so we have to pull that off our website. We don't have that one either. So you set your priorities. What do you think is important to you? What do you think you're going to learn? And of course, the same thing applies to the master's. You have the master's ultimate program, which is the contractor. That covers every single thing. That's what I want you to get ultimately. You don't have to get the whole thing at one time, but that's what I want you to study. Once you get that, you're set. You're set. And then, of course, the comprehensive for somebody who's completed a 4-year program, or it's been a long time, or they never really took an apprenticeship program and they want to start from the beginning. Intermediate, you finished a 4-year program, this will be fine. The basic, you've completed a 4-year apprenticeship program, this is fine. And now, no, I don't recommend you get books because it's the videos, honestly, beside the book and the practice, the videos are golden. All right, so there you go. So you can spend probably, I don't know, $75 if you want to spend it that cheap, and you can probably spend 20 minutes on the book, and I don't know how long it's going to take you to pass it. By the way, you want to pass this test the first time. You're not looking to take years to pass a test. You want to be focused. All right, ready? This is what I think you should do. So I'm talking about products. You decide what you want in there. Number one is you need to start reading books. And you read The Slight Edge. That gives you a philosophy to be successful. Then you want to get life skills. This tells you about all the things that I did wrong and some of the things that I did right. And this is critical. Immediately, you need to get yourself focused with the right attitude to put you where it's going to take you. The next program after that, the next book after that is Electrical Theory, and all the great guys on the video team that explain theory. And you know what? If you take a look at the time on there, it only takes you 65 hours. That's it. 65 hours to complete that program. That's not bad. So it gives you a perspective. The next thing I need you to do, again, I'm trying to mentor you, what are your steps? We're going to talk about how to do each one next week. Like, how do you handle this book? The next one is going to be, I want you to read this book, Eat That Frog. Excellent book. This helps you place things in an organizational way that you can, this is a little tiny book, it's nothing there. Amazing. How to manage your time. Then I need you to learn the National Electric Code. You take this, and I don't want to get the details, but you can see all the graphics and all the illustrations. The same thing with all our books. I mean, look at how many graphics just on 2 pages right there. And that is to help you with the highlighter that was talked earlier. Get your code book. This covers articles 90 through 480. And then you have the videos that go with that. You'll see Mario on that team and all the other great guys on the team. And then you have a workbook to answer, I don't know, probably 2,000 questions. That is step 2. Look at the time on that. 190 hours. Now, some people could do it faster. Some people might take longer. It all depends on your intensity. Are you doing this a couple hours a week and then you're kind of getting out of the sync of it? Or are you like really focused and going quickly? The next one, I'm not sure if I can reach all these books here. It's going to be level 3. You need to read the E-Myth, the Contractor. Help you understand. Listen, even if you're not going to be a business person, you need to be thinking like a business person because you are in business for yourself. I'm Mike Holt, Inc. Everybody is their own individual person. You have something to sell and you want to try to get some income for your services. So that would be what I would recommend on that book. And then I need you to cover bonding. You watch video. Very important. If you're an electrician, you're in the electrical trade and you don't even know bonding and grounding and you listen to all these people telling you all kinds of crazy things, think about it. If you understand this, you understand, man, you're ahead of everybody. Oh, another one is understanding the UNEC, which has to do with chapters 5, 6, 7, 8 in the code book with the DVDs. That's a must. I mean, what do you do when you get to swimming pools or hazard locations or agricultural? There's a lot of rules out there you need to be aware of. I need you to know motor control. Motor control. What are you going to run around? You don't have motor control? Listen, even if you don't do control, it's a good idea if you have an idea of the terms, its application, because one day, guess what? You might do motor control because you know motor control. And the last thing on step 3 is to understand solar. Solar power is a big deal in some parts of the country. If nothing else, it's a good idea for you to have an understanding because you might have conversations with people. That is 207 hours. I have a formula how that works out. The next one is going to be an exam prep. That's for the Journeyman. So you get the exam prep book and you do units 1 through 9, not 10 and 11. And then you get all the videos that kind of go with that, and you complete that. And when you get all done for the Journeymans, you take the Journeyman's practice exam. It's a 16-hour exam. 16 hours, so it's pretty challenging, but we have there. Now, all you got to do to upgrade to the Masters is get a couple of DVDs. You already have the book, so there's no sense paying extra for another book. So that's a Journeyman's, and we'll talk more about that. So that is going to be step 4. So the take and prepare for the Journeyman's exam is 172 hours. Don't worry about all the hours. I'm just giving you some perspective. You're going to see it in a minute. Now, the Journeyman Ultimate. In other words, if you get all those, listen, if you buy one course at a time, you get the bonding book and you get this book, then the cost is going to be significantly more than if you say, I'm going to take it as a package. So if you get the Journeyman's package, if you take a look at the time down here, it's 624 hours. That's what it is. Okay. Well, who cares? You're learning. Then you're going to go to the next step. Oh, say, by the way, here's an example. 634. What did I have here? Go up here. Oh, I typo. Should have been 634 hours. So now, how long will it take you to complete that? Well, if you put 6 hours a week working on it, and you work 26 hours a week. And Brian, you're the one that told me that your curriculum, because we have an apprenticeship curriculum, that your curriculums are set for 2 nights a week for 3 hours each, and the school schedule is 26 weeks. Is that correct?
That's actually exactly correct.
Okay, and that being the case, taking the 634 and calculating it out, it comes out to be 106 weeks if you use 6 hours a week for 26 weeks a year. It comes out to be about 4 years to complete that program. Now, you can go down the line here and you can see, okay, well, it takes, this is weeks down here. It takes 4 weeks for a life skills book. It takes 7 weeks for theory. Understanding UNC 1, 22 weeks. The workbook is 10 weeks. These times, I feel, are way, listen, there's no way. There's no way. That formula can't be right, but it's what it is. I can't say real quick here. The workbook, it says how many hours? Well, 58 hours. Yeah, be about 58 hours. Oh yeah, but if you're going to be going 6 hours a week, takes 58 hours, it's going to take you 10 weeks. Okay, well that's just that's not my call. There's just no way I could do that. But that's what it says if you do it. And then if you go to the bonding and grounding, it takes you 10 weeks. Understanding UNC 2 is 17 weeks. Solar is 4 weeks to complete. Motor controls is 4 weeks to complete. It takes 26 weeks to complete the exam prep, and it takes 3 weeks to do your simulated exam. 3 weeks? I don't think so. Well, it does if you take 6 hours a week. Now, I asked my wife, I said, babe, how many hours a week do you think I would work on this? Well, she goes, well, you'd work 6 hours a day and you'd work 16 hours on a Saturday and a Sunday. I'm like, babe, come on. You know, I'm not going to work 6 hours every single night. I get home at 6 o'clock. She goes, yeah, you get home at 6 o'clock. You're going to be having me give you the dinner. You're going to go in the closet and you're going to work till 12. Well, yeah, okay, fine. I probably would do that. But I'm not going to do it every single night. She goes, oh yeah, you'd be doing it every single night. Okay, but how many hours do you think I'd work on a weekend? She goes, 16. I'm like, babe, I'm not going to be in the book 16 hours on a Saturday and Sunday because, yeah, you'd be there 16 hours. You get there at 7 o'clock in the morning and then you'd work till 11 o'clock at night. And I'm thinking, yeah, probably would do that. But to be reasonable, I have a spreadsheet I can send to you and then you guys can do your own math here. I know how I am. I set goals for myself and there's no doubt in my mind. Look, take a look at this graphic here. Oh, that's the slide here. I would set a goal that I want to get it done in 1 year. Then I work my way backwards. And I would say, okay, well, I'm going to take 2 weeks off. I'm not going to be studying. And that works out for me to be 14.75 hours a week. So 14.75 hours is, let's say I spend 2 hours a night. 4 nights a week. That gives me 8. 8 from 14 gives me what? Basically another 7. And I would spend 7 hours on a Saturday. Brian, Do you think I would only spend 2 hours a night, 4 nights a week, and just 7 hours on a Saturday?
Well, judging from our work schedules when we do books and recordings, no.
Never going to happen. Guys, I would set the 1 year because I think it's reasonable. But there's a zero chance it's going to take me a year to complete this program. You know why? See all these hours that are inside here? Brian, see if you agree with this. All these hours here, these are just subjective hours. But if you're so intense and you're so focused, see, if you only do one I sent one guy bought my course. Hey, Mike, I bought your comprehensive course. I really thanks. He goes, and I set my goal to work 1 hour a night. I'm like, oh yeah, not 1 hour a night. You should be doing at least 3 hours a night and 8 hours on a Saturday. Never heard from him again. So my point is this. As you get intense, let's say you start theory, and you start getting in it, and you're working so many hours, there's something happens, you get into a zone, and all of a sudden you move at a rate that you never imagined, and everything is right there, everything is fresh, and you're able to easily find this and find that. You're answering questions, it's like boom, boom, boom. See, that's the beauty of intensity, as opposed to working 1 hour a night and maybe 4 hours on a Saturday. Listen, there's nothing wrong with that, because if you want to put 6 hours a week and you want to go 26 hours or 26 weeks, well, whatever, it might be my name. Oh, that's the ultimate program. If I get the Journeyman's, the Journeyman's would have been about 4 hours. You decide what you think is reasonable. I'll send you the spreadsheet and you make a decision. Brian, were you going to say something?
Yeah, Mike, I think to put this in terms that are maybe even a little more tangible for these guys, when you're doing a job and you have like 20 feet of EMT to run, 2 boxes and a little bit of wire right at the end of the day, you can either pack up and go home, which is going to take time, or you can just stay an extra 30 minutes and you can just go ahead and finish the job out. And when you're studying, at least me, this is what I found and just how I feel about it. Once I get into something and I'm immersed, until you reach a certain point where you just can't think anymore, you're able to just go so much faster, and everything sticks better, and it makes more sense because one thing leads to the next thing, leads to the next thing. And so I just think, are the hours right? Yeah, they absolutely are if you're trying to split it up and fit it between other commitments. But like you said, hey, if you can just be intense, if you can just immerse 100% and focus on a single goal and get it done, you're going to get it done so much faster. It's just not even going to be funny. So you're going to save money and you're going to save time both.
Well, there's a law that says that a task will take the exact amount of time that you allocate for it to take. So if you're going to do something and you say, well, it's going to take me a day, well, it's going to take you a day to do it. If you say, hey, I can knock that thing out in 4 hours, well, you'll knock it out in 4 hours. But it's the intensity. So my recommendation is you start this, you commit to it, and you nail it. Maybe you're not Mike Holt, all right? You're not going to get it done in a year. And I can tell you something like that. There's no way it's going to take me a year to get that done. No way. All right, step 5. The next step you're going to go to is management. You've gotten your journeymans. Now I need you to become a manager. I need you to learn how to lead people. Guys, this is where you start making money, when you start managing and leveraging your skill and your knowledge and be able to use other people's. So leadership. Now, I'm going to change the title of this book. It's called Being a Great Instructor, Becoming a Great Instructor. And I realize that we're all instructors. We're all trying to help people understand our concept. We're trying to communicate information, and we want them to buy into it, want them to believe us. And so I'll be changing this and to how to manage people is really what it comes down to. And really the key there is service. And then we have the DVDs that go with that. And you know what? At the same time, go get your instructor certification. You're a journeyman electrician. Get your instructor certification now. Get your leadership skills. Start making sure you're running jobs. If you haven't already been, at least you can do it better. And by the way, by having the library, you don't have to wait and follow this exact sequence. If all of a sudden you get a solar project in sooner than before you get the scheduled solar, well, then you just jump into solar. If you get an opportunity to be a foreman somewhere, well, then jump in the management part of the library and then start running those suckers through there. Okay? And then we have electrical estimating. Every electrician should know how to estimate a job. If you know how to estimate a job, you might be complaining less about your boss. because you're like, wow, I didn't realize all those expenses were involved. I didn't realize how labor units work and what things matter. So that is important. If nothing else, you put yourself in a position to move into management with a company. Because I got a leadership skill, I got know how to manage people, that's a great instructor. I took care of an estimating course, and then the last thing that you need to get is going to be business management. How to manage a business. And maybe you're going to manage your own business, maybe not. But you know, when you go through all this thing here, when you get it all finished, you might find out, I don't want to be an electrical contractor. I like all the skills I have, and I want to be an instructor. I want to be an inspector. You might be an inspector, before you know it, you move into an administrative position, and now you're the building official. I've seen that happen many, many times. John Travers in Fort Lauderdale, the building official in Fort Lauderdale, is an electrical inspector, one of my students. Well, because he moved himself up, and he's just an amazing person. Jim Pauley, the president of, he didn't take my courses, so I don't want to imply that up. He's the president of the NFPA. He was an electrical code expert. So be aware of that. Get your business skills. And then you have the master's exam. Listen, you already have the master's book. You already have the master's, you get the ultimate master's, which is just 2 DVDs and just a couple other things. And then before you know, when you go take your master's exam, now, if you get your journeyman's quick and you qualify for the master's, study, get your journeyman's, and then maybe a couple months later, you go get your master's because you qualify for that. But it doesn't, the amount of time would be, oh, look at this. You'd only have to spend 29 hours to go follow up on the master's exam than you would have been if it was just the journeyman. But if you end up having the master's and you got to wait a year or 2 or 3, well, guess what? You're going to have to put a couple hundred hours in there to kind of refresh yourself, but you have the material. So now, the master's program, again, 6 hours a week, 26 weeks. It would take you a little bit less than a year. We're talking about 102 hours. 102 hours? Oh, I do that in 3 weeks. Done. Finished. You got to realize something. The sooner you complete this, the more money you make in a lifetime because you moved yourself up so quickly. The slower you take, if it takes you 4 years to complete something you could do in, let's say, 2 years, you have 2 years less income that you could be making in the difference between the two. So think about that kind of strategy when you're making your decisions here. Then, okay, and then the ultimate program, this is putting everything together, including masters. It's 736 hours. And let's see what Michael would be. 736 hours. What would I do? Okay, let's see honestly. What would I do? I would work. Okay, let's just say I'm tired of working hard. 2 hours, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's 8 hours. I would work 10 hours. 8 and 10. Let me just round it up. I say I'm only going to work 7 hours. I would work 15 hours. And I would say 50 hours, a couple weeks up. Look at that. Bingo! Less than 1 hour, 1 year. Exactly my goal. All right. And then, Brian, I'm ready. We're almost finished here.
Well, Mike, you're talking about all this stuff, and just a lot of great comments on all the different social media platforms. But one just kind of caught my eye, and maybe you can take a second. I know you're going to talk about this in a later video. But one of the guys is like, hey, Mike, what book do you recommend to start with for people who hate reading? Can you just take a second and talk about that?
But watch this. Here's the beautiful thing about my system. I didn't want to talk about the products, but I will real quick. Let me get something here. Let's just go to the code. I hate reading. I don't like grammar. I don't like punctuation. I don't like... Look at this graphic here and tell me how much text is on that page. How about how much text is on... Let me try it here. How much text is on that page? There's not a lot of reading when it comes to our program. And not only that, but the cool thing, I was thinking about this, the reading that's involved, it's all related to the exact same words. We still say grounding and bonding and ground fault and effective ground fault current path and overcurrent protection and the conductors and ungrounded and grounded. We keep using the same words over and over and over and over and over again. It's almost like we're in a totally different language. But where's my book? Where's my life skills? Start there. Don't buy anything from me. I'm cool with that. I'd like to mentor you. I'd like you to go all the way, but buy The Slight Edge and read that. If you can't read this, well, then you're screwed. Because then you don't like to read, you don't want to study, you don't want to do anything. Well, then you just live the life that you live. Just be comfortable. So no, reading is not a problem. Math is not a problem. It's add, subtract, multiply, divide. You're going to get so passionate, you go so excited that you're going to be happy. Oh, you know, if you're not sure, you just get, well, let me just get the level 1 course only, and then just, you know, then if I like that, then I can decide what I'm going to do after that. And I'm sure my office can work with you. Any other questions, Brian?
You know, Mike, there's a lot of comments, and I think most of them are going to be better handled offline. But I just have one last comment, and just for all the guys that are out there, everybody wants to say, "Oh man, I'm not good with books. I work with my hands," and the reality is, Mike, and you and I are this way. These books are designed for guys that are active people. They have short attention spans. I mean, that's me and you, right? We get bored like that fast. You're faster than me, but, you know, pretty fast. And
yeah, that's true. Quite fast. Yeah.
These books are designed, and they're fun because this is not, you're not reading a dictionary. You're not reading an encyclopedia. This is the stuff, you're actually doing this work. And so, like, you walk out, you study 2 hours tonight, you walk on the job tomorrow, chances are pretty good in the next couple of days, you're going to see something having to do with what you just studied. And it gives you an opportunity to connect
but
to
the thing, But the thing is, you're watching a lot of videos. You're watching lots of videos, and you're looking at lots of pictures, and there's a little bit of word that tells you this. It says that non-metallic sheath cables shall be secured within 12 inches of termination. How complicated is that? You got to make sure you strap it, and it tells you can use clamps, and you can use cable ties and other things. Listen, guys. Forget this about, well, I like to work with my hands. Listen, we're all electricians. We all get that. We all love working with our hands. So don't misunderstand us there. But this isn't like a technical book. This isn't like something hard to read. This is fun. And you know the cool thing about this? As you get to learn this stuff, you go to the job next day, say, hey, let me ask you a question, buddy. And you ask them a question, and they get it wrong. You're like, oh, man, you're an idiot. And you get my book out, you open it up, and you show them. So there's, we always had that kind of thing going on a job site. All right, last thing. Mike, the Ultimate program is a great deal. It is a great deal. So if you start buying more packages at one, you get the Journeyman's Ultimate, or you get the Master's Ultimate, or or you just get one book at a time, or you get one DVD, whatever it is. It becomes more costly, so it's cheaper. And maybe you make it a birthday gift to yourself. You tell everybody in your family, hey, I want to commit to this. Maybe get somebody to invest in you like an investor, right? Hey, invest in my idea, in my business, which is going to be me. You know what? Give up a vacation. Save money. Stop going to the gas station and getting a Coke and a drink at lunch or something like that. Do whatever you got to do to get the program. Mike, the Ultimate program is a great deal. But what if the code changes before I complete the Ultimate program? That's a real possibility. Not for me. There's no way the program is going to finish before I'm going to do. What we do is we include in the program two things. One, the coolest formula book with graphics, illustrations, okay? That's all the calculations. And we also include a code change book, which is pretty thick, and the DVDs. So that takes care of that. But one more thing. It might be possible that you get the Ultimate Library and you really could not complete it, and then there's a code change that takes place 6 months later, 2 years later. We will, for $100, allow you to return all the products that you want to, as long as you'll notice our books. I kind of open them all up. Okay. The books and the DVDs are all sealed. So if you didn't open a DVD, you didn't open a book, and all of a sudden, you're in Texas and they adopt a new code and you hadn't finished the program, just call us and say, hey, listen, Mike said for $100, I'm going to send back all these books and these DVDs that we have not opened, and I'd like to get the next code cycle. In other words, you can't jump 2 code cycles. So if, let's say, you're in a 2017, you order the library 2017, and then in 6 months or 2 years from now, they change it to the 2020, and you hadn't done the exam prep at that time, just send the exam prep book with the DVDs back. You have one time that you can go ahead and do this upgrade to whatever you have in use. So that can remove that issue of like, wow, what if the code changes? And the last thing I have here is, Mike, how can I get apprentices motivated to get their journeyman's license? I was talking to my wife about all this stuff because we share a lot of things. Have her give me insight. She goes, it's inside. It's the Ghana. It's inside. I think you have to show you're studying, and you mean the owner of the company, and you're training, and that you value education. I don't know how much money I would pay for one of my employees to take a class. I might pay, let's say, start with something, and if they finished it, then I would go on to something else. Brian, do you have any feedback? Because you're a little bit better at this, I think, connected to me than I am with this.
And I did this. And what I would say is I've seen a lot of this where the owner will pay once the student passes. And I would do this. Hey, you pass your journeyman's exam, I'll pay your costs to do that. There's a lot of different deals that can be worked out.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. But you know, but listen, you pass your journeyman's exam. Let's assume you made $1 an hour more. Okay, $1 an hour.
Which you're going to.
Let's say the ultimate library. Okay, $1, just $1. I mean, that's $2,000 a year. You just got a pay raise. If you get the ultimate library, let's say, I'm just picking a number. Let's say the ultimate library is $2,000. Well, guess what? You invest $2,000, you're making $1 an hour for the rest of your life. And so your return on that investment, if you only got $1 an hour, which you're going to get more, it's going to be 1 year. If you look at it that way. All right, Brian, I'm done with my program. If anybody has any final comments.
I have a comment.
And next week?
Yesterday, you said that you were going to tell them a discount code so that when they're looking at all this cool stuff, and people have been asking for links and all this other kind of stuff, and I'm sure they would love to know what the discount code is that you were talking about yesterday.
Okay. You go to mycolt.com. I recommend the Ultimate Training Library, not the Journeyman's Ultimate, and I would recommend the Ultimate Training Library. And I think that was on I think that was on that page there. Let's take a look here. Let me go back here. You go to exam prep. Okay, well there's a mistake there. The first thing above this, what it should be is, Brian, if you can add that on there, is the Ultimate Training Library should be in the heading here. Okay, so a person can just click there to get the Ultimate Training Library. Or you get the Journeyman Ultimate, or if you're a master electrician, you can get the Master's Ultimate. And of course, it'll be a little cheaper depending, Journeyman versus Masters. And it's 30% off the discount. And your discount code, when you go to checkout, you pick the Ultimate Library, let's just say, when you go to checkout, in the discount code, you type in the word LIVE. Brian, is that case sensitive?
It is not. If you can get it in there, it'll take it.
Okay, then type in LIVE. You're going to get your program. And then guess what? If you order it now, you'll have it by next Wednesday. We're going to be going through the Ultimate Training Program on every single book, every single DVD, how to approach it, what to do with it. And so that's what we're going to do. And then the last video after that is like, okay, you're done with the program. Where can you get certified? How do you, Miami, California, New York City, whatever it's going to be. We'll cover that. All right, guys. Good luck. Exciting. If you want to do it really, really, really fast, really, really quick, save a lot of time, just order my exam prep book for, $75, and then not maybe be successful as you want to. All right. God bless. And I'll see you later.